Welcome to the Run Radio podcast. I'm Trina, and my guest today is LaDonna Greiner. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
And like so many of my guests, I've been networking and got to meet so many people through one networking, 1 Million Cups. And that is, if you've never heard of 1 Million Cups, go look it up with your city attached or see where the closest one is, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
It is fantastic. So I wanted to talk to you because you've done a lot of different entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yes.
And for a lot of us, it's overwhelming to tackle one, let alone a couple, or even decide to step into that realm of entrepreneurship. So how did it happen for you?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur from the time I was a teenager to now, and continue to be. But I've worked full time most of the time. And my husband and I had a paint your own pottery studio when we lived in the Atlanta area. I've had some computer businesses, just various things, but they were always side hustles.
Okay.
This was my first foray into being all in.
Yeah.
And that started with my gratitude kit.
Okay.
And as a result of going to 1 Million Cups. I was looking for a business to start. I'd been let go from my fundraising job, and I'd been a fundraiser for 25 years for nonprofits, raising major gifts, and written a lot of thank you notes and things like that to show people appreciation. And that's kind of how it evolved into my first business of late, and that is the gratitude kit, which was again inspired by attending 1 Million Cups.
Okay, so wait. So why, if that inspired you, then why did you go to 1 Million Cups to begin with?
I was inspired by 1 Million Cups. I was invited to go.
Okay.
And like I said, I've always been an entrepreneur, so it just struck a chord with me.
Okay.
And I thought, these are my peeps.
Yeah, lit a fire.
Yeah, it did. And so after about a year, I had been looking for a business because, like I said, I'd been let go. I was looking for a job, wasn't finding anything. So I thought, I'm going to go into business for myself. It's a great time in life to do that. So I came up with the gratitude kit. Now, I didn't come up with this. This is not my first presentation at 1 Million Cups was nothing like this. That's why it's so helpful to have 1 Million Cups, because they help you fine tune your business.
Yeah.
And mine was a series of notebooks where you take pages out and put pages in, but it looked a little hunky.
Yeah.
So instead, I ended up going with the gratitude kit. There's nothing on the market like this that I can find. And I wrote 3 books. These are 2 of them. 21 Reasons to Say Thank You to Your Coworkers.
Yes.
And 21 Reasons to Say Thank You with a Grateful Heart, which is faith-based.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then inside there, which
I'll just take the cards out here. With the kit, you get 21 cards, which are all photos that are of the Ozarks. Most of them I've taken. A few of them friends helped me get started. And so I'm slowly phasing them out and adding my own. But these are just photos of the Ozarks. It comes with 21 cards, 21 envelopes. The cards are not gender specific, so you can use them for anyone. This happens to be my first card that I ever made.
That is beautiful.
Thank you. This was my husband's family farm, so it just has a special note for me. And then the sunflowers out by Marionville.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I love this.
Now we're doing the 52 card pickup. This is just a sweet little flower. I laid on the ground to take this picture to get the dewdrops on it. It's an anemone. Golden Gate Bridge down by Beaver, Arkansas. This was a friend's photo. He let me use it, and I really loved it.
Ooh, I do too.
Blue Highway. Thank you very much, Jeff Farabee, because without this, I wouldn't have gotten this far. And then another one that another friend let me use, and this was one by Kaylin Way, and she called it the Wabi Sabi Barn. So the name of my business is Barns, Backroads, and Byways, so that's what my photos feature.
Okay, and so also blank inside so you can write what you learn from the journal.
Yes, or you can use them for notes of encouragement. This is like Springfield, another Jeff Farabee photo, and the rest of them are mine. And this is one down in...
so pretty, I love it.
Yeah, Bloomtastic, I call that one. So there's a wide range of cards. I think I have 13 different designs. You get 21 with the box. They're all assorted. You get your envelopes, you get your ink pen, everything in one place to write a note.
Yeah.
All you need, and then with the book, you can go in and it starts out as a book talking about the benefits of gratitude, and then it goes into 21 suggestions on who you might write and what you might say to them with a little inspirational quote at the beginning. I have a lot of pre-written thank yous for those that just can't get started.
Yeah.
So they can read these and get inspiration and guidance. And there's a thing in the back that, a list in the back that's creative adjectives. So if you can, if you're like me, you use the same wonderful all the time, you know, this or awesome or whatever. This gives you some inspiration and some thoughts on how you can level up a little bit with yours. And then this is for the workplace, so it addresses the importance of saying thank you in the workplace to your coworkers and your boss and vendors.
And there's something special about, you know, handwritten and I say fun mail because these days it's usually 80–90% of stuff that's going right into the recycle bin.
Yeah, it's either bills or promotional items.
Right. So it's nice to get to have that and then have that, you know, prompts and encouragement because you know you do get stuck no matter how creative you're being.
That's
you
right.
will be different and so that was really nice.
Yeah, the suggestions are for people you wouldn't normally think of thanking, like your maintenance worker at work or the housekeeping at work or, you know, different people at work that you run into, and it just helps you develop very deep and strong relationships with people. Because when you get a handwritten note, a hand-addressed envelope in the mail, what do you open first when you're going through your mail?
Oh, of course, the handwritten.
Absolutely.
The one that looks like it's for me.
Yes, personal.
Sure.
And then with the gratitude kit here, this is a magnetic closure box, reusable. I envision people keeping the thank yous that they get. So a lot of people keep handwritten cards. So this is something that you can keep and then go back and look at. A friend of mine calls it their I'm sorry, I can't think of the word right now, but their encouragement file or encouragement box. So when you're feeling low, when things aren't going quite right, go in there and read some of the thank yous you've gotten from other people. And all of a sudden,
well, I'm going to need one of those because we'll have to give one to Alex. Alex has hosted us by letting us come to his restaurant, Italian Kitchen. So if you are thinking about what to get for your next meal, go to Italian Kitchen for takeout and you're not going to be sorry you did. So I think we're going to get to sample some of that soon. So
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've decided that you're going to do this. Were you kind of scared or were you just like, no, it's cool. It's going to be what it is? Because I know a lot of people, it's like, it takes a lot to get to that point.
I did have my moments of doubt. Will anybody ever read this? Does anybody want this? Does anybody feel like they need it? And honestly, I should have done more research and more focus groups because I thought the workplace would be an excellent place for this. So I started out with 2 books, 21 Reasons to Say Thank You to Your Employees, and then this one to your coworkers, thinking that I could get into the workplace and speak, and I have got into some, but it was not nearly as well received as I thought it would be. Now with 21 Reasons to Say Thank You with a Grateful Heart, it's thank yous for anybody, and you know, wide range from friends, neighbors, family, even doctors, you know, things like that. And it is faith-based, but it has gone over a lot better. So that's one of the things I learned. Do a focus group before you pour a lot of time and money into something that will be marginally successful rather than something that will be wildly successful.
So obviously to put your photos in there, photography had already been a passion of yours.
I was always the one when we would travel that was getting behind the camera, taking the pictures. But I never did it professionally. I never did it with purpose or with focus. So when I started taking the photos for the cards, I became much more purposeful and developed an eye for it. And this is something, I think anything that you really want to do, you can do. Just study up on it, learn from others, learn from going online and looking at what you want to do. I would go look at photographs and analyze why I liked one over the other. And then I would say, then I knew how to hone in on, you know, taking that photograph in the field.
They do tell the story.
They do.
You know, it's not just a curve in the road, it's the light coming in and the story that it tells about, you know.
And it's the angle of the camera and it's the lighting and there's so many things that come into play. And I take thousands of pictures and maybe 10% at the most make the cut.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I think a lot of people think, well, you're a professional, you do it in one shot. It's a lot of experimenting and, you know.
Yeah, this is look better close up, focusing on the center, focusing on the side, you know, just different things. So I'll take a lot of different shots, and then I go back through them with an eye for what appeals to me right then.
And you don't always see what you think you saw on the screen versus the lens. It's a whole process.
Yeah, and I can get in a hurry and not look at my photo before I go on and take more photos, and then the lighting's not quite right, so, or something like that. But I try not to edit my photos more than just lighting, just a minimal editing I do, because I want to take a good picture in the field. I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic.
And what do you shoot with?
Nikon D850 now.
Okay. Have you experimented with your phone and taking pictures?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do. I have. In one of my books, I have pictures that I took with my phone.
You can get really, I love the macro photography you can do with a phone. And one of the little lenses, if you pop those up. Yeah, very fun.
Yeah, I have had people, I print pictures for people. They'll say, oh, I've got this shot that I took. Can you print it for me on metal? Because that's what this led to. I had so many pictures that I took for looking up cards. I thought, I could do something with these. What am I going to do? And so I discovered printing on metal. Now, this one isn't as vibrant as many. I mean, when you get colors, they just pop.
Yeah.
This photo on a metal is just, it's like you're standing in the poppy field among the flowers, or walking down the trail or whatever. But the metal is so vivid and bright, plus you can just wipe it off.
Yeah.
You can hang it in the kitchen, in your bathroom, and you don't have to worry about moisture or things splashing and spilling on it. So that's what led me to this, but it's really, everything I do is based on gratitude.
Yeah.
Like you say, it tells a story, and to me it tells a story of gratitude. We'll get to this and what story it tells in a little bit, but that's why I love taking the pictures, because they bring joy to a lot of people, and the gratitude book does too. The more time you spend being grateful, the more happy you are and the more grateful you are.
And so you've integrated your photography and your writing. How did that kind of become more and more?
Okay, well, the writing for these books was something that I felt there was a need for, because people would say, I don't know what to say in a thank you note. And so there's a little inspirational story at the beginning of each of the 21 suggestions that help you get in that frame of mind. So these are books, people tell me they use these year round, because for different things will come up. Only your real friends will tell you when your face is dirty. It's a Sicilian proverb that I put. So even something as minute, but this is really not so minute. Ever get a piece of spinach or poppy seed or cracked pepper lodged between your teeth? A real friend is a trusted or trusted coworker would discreetly bring it to your attention. Of course, you thank them verbally. Why not send them a note and a little chuckle, and they'll be more apt to repeat the favor for you again in the future. Now, some people may disagree with that, but I love it. People have told me. And so just little things like that, because that was a thoughtful gesture that person made to me to tell me, hey, you know, you got a little something there. And just things like that. And so hopefully it inspires people to write a note to those who are helpful to them.
So then you get this done, you've got your books, then where are you in the whole process?
Well, I started taking photographs for my cards, because I wanted them to be all my photographs. They do tell on the back where they were taken, who the photographer is, that sort of thing. But I wanted to have a variety of photos, but I took so many, and because I started traveling to state parks, to different parts of the country, just looking for pictures and looking for opportunities. And I had so many, they were great, but you can't put everything on a card. So that's when I started the photographs. And I did it on canvas to begin with, and I do offer prints, but metal is my forte, and I only order canvas now when people request it.
So was the metal just your own experimenting with what
with
you
different
like
labs. Yes, I
Okay.
do not do it myself. It
Okay.
takes several $100,000 machine, a lot of expertise to do it right. So that's, I think as an entrepreneur, you need to know when you can do it yourself and when you shouldn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's very
Yeah.
important, either because you don't have the level of experience or expertise, or it's just too costly. And for me, it was both in this case.
Yeah, but what made you want to put your picture on metal though?
I saw
You
it.
just saw it.
Yes, I ordered it and I saw it and I thought, oh, wow.
It just like took it up a level.
Yes, it really did. I wish I had brought a more vivid picture with me today, but I do have a website,
Yes.
Farms, Backroads and Byways,
Okay.
and a Facebook page that you can see more. But metal, just, you can't, it doesn't convey the true vibrancy and reality of it on the computer screen. You have to see it in person. And I get remarks like, wow, looks like I feel like I could walk right into that path, or I can feel the spray of the waterfall, things like that.
Yes.
People just feel like they're there. It's like looking through your window at whatever the scene is.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to capture, because if you've ever been like you have like on a big hike or anything, it's just so much to take in, and there are often times where you're just like, no, the camera just doesn't do
Yes.
the eye justice.
That's exactly.
But I get what you're saying, to have that pop
Mm-hmm.
on there is really, that does make a difference. And
Yeah, I mean, you can
part of
almost
it.
feel the waterfall,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
like you're there, standing at the rocks looking at it. And so I've been on many hiking adventures and kayaking to get my photos, because I really focus on landscapes, old buildings, vintage things, on the backroads and byways. So I'm always taking
Yes.
off on a dirt road, and I have the gazetteer maps that sometimes help me, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Take my phone, always venturing out to find new experiences and new, never seen before pictures.
Well, and you got quite an adventure
Yes.
not too long ago, very recently.
Yeah.
And that led to pictures, a book, and like
Yes.
just a big imprint on your life. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, this is actually the waterfall that I went to photograph on the most traumatic story in the book. This is Minnesota Falls at Tomsock Mountain.
Okay.
And in January of 2021, I wanted to go photograph it because one thing, it had rained and I thought the waterfall would be flowing. And it's a great time of year because there's no ticks, there's no bugs, and there's fewer people, so I don't have to try and, snap a picture when there's no person in the shot or things like that. So my husband and I headed out and stay at Johnson's Shut-ins and hike Tomsock Mountain and get that picture, among others. Well, the first one I wanted to get was this. So we hadn't even gone to our cabin yet. We went to the falls. It's a good thing we did, because they were closing the next day to hunt hogs, wild hogs from helicopters. They would shoot them. So they were closing the park the next day, and I wouldn't have been able to get there. However, while I was on that hike, it's in a very rocky area and lots of igneous rock that's just flat, and I lost the trail. And it was about 3:30 in the evening in January. It gets dark about 4 or 4:30.
And you're by yourself.
I am by
Your
myself.
husband is-
He went with me part of the way, but due to heart problems, he couldn't continue the rest of the way. And we have this agreement that he'll go as far as he can, and then I'll go on and we'll meet back either at the meeting point or at the car. And that was our agreement that day. And I got off on a deer trail, thinking it was the trail. And by the time I realized that I was too far down the path, and I thought, well, I'll find it. I've always found it in the past. I've always found my way out. I've been lost. I'll find my way out. Well, I did, but it was almost 24 hours later. And I never got back to the parking lot. I ended up on another mountain. About 2:30, a thunder, lightning, rain, all that deluge started. The near freezing temperatures, the wind would come up. It was a miserable night.
I mean, I would have started panicking probably a lot sooner than it sounds like you did. At what point did panic set in?
No, I didn't panic. I think that's the important thing. You keep a clear head. I talk about that in my book, because that's also, in 1946, the Forest Service wrote a little pamphlet about what to do when you get lost.
Yeah.
And the main thing was to keep a clear head, and I put it in the book with their permission. And so my focus was, how am I going to get out of here? Okay, I'm in this fix. How am I going to get out of it? Can I find the trail? And then when I didn't find the trail, okay, how am I going to survive through the night? There's wild hogs. I saw rootings where wild hogs had been. I heard coyotes. And then yes.
Goodness gracious.
And then the thunder and lightning and rain started. And I didn't get any sleep that night.
I guess not, yeah.
Which was really a good thing.
Yeah.
Because a few years earlier, a man and his 2 sons had died in the same time of year, the same area. And he was a Air Force career person who had been through a lot more training than I had. But they didn't keep moving. And so I kept moving throughout the night. I had to because of the lightning. I couldn't go to sleep, which was, I think, God sent the lightning so that I couldn't go to sleep. Otherwise, the next morning, that night, my husband told them when they came to lock the gates, which they normally wouldn't do, but since they were hunting hogs the next day, they were locking the gates about 6 o'clock. And he said, my wife hasn't shown up, so they asked me a few questions and called in search and rescue teams, but they had to pull them out at 2:30 because of the storms. And so the next morning, it wasn't search and rescue, it was search and recover. Because they really didn't expect to find me dead, because they knew the story about the man and his 2 sons. We didn't, thank God.
Yeah.
Then I probably would have been panicked if I'd known that story.
Yes.
But we didn't know about that. And they really didn't expect to find me alive. They had my husband call in the kids. As I said, they called in search and recover because they expected to find a body to recover. And so they were very shocked and surprised when I called them that morning, and I had found my way out and found my way to a house, and to let them know that I was okay.
So did you have your phone in no service, or did you not even, oh no, you didn't even have it.
I didn't have my phone, which that's one of the things I learned. I know, it was down, I wasn't getting reception because I tried to download a map from All Trails, and I wasn't getting reception. I couldn't get it downloaded. So I thought, it was at 50% power, I thought, what's the point in taking it? I'll just drop it or break it.
Oh,
so I'm just gonna leave it here because it's of no value to me. Wrong. No matter where you are, no matter even when your phone's dead, they can still ping you if it hasn't been dead for hours and hours or days and days. They can still ping you. And so if I'd had my phone, they could have found me and got me out of there much sooner. But
So keep moving and take the phone.
Yes,
No matter what.
Exactly. That's the 2 key things.
So when you get to the house to make the call, are you at this point realizing how serious this is yet?
No.
When did it hit you? Well, how bad? how everyone else was as panicked?
Yeah, it really didn't soak in until I started telling my story after I had written the book, honestly.
Really?
And I got out and I was telling my story, and people said, oh my gosh, you could have died. And oh my God. And I knew that I could have died, but it wasn't, I didn't really know, and I hadn't stopped to think about it.
Yeah.
That, I really could have died. And it was it became much more real. It takes a while for things to soak in, because you're just first I was in the mode of survival. What am I going to do? What do I have to do to get out of here? I am not spending another night in these woods.
Yeah.
That's just not an option. Somehow I'm getting out of here. Either they find me or I find them, but not another night in these woods, because it was going to get even colder the next night. And so that's what my focus was. Now, when I got out, I was relieved. My husband was relieved. It was a very traumatic experience for him. I'm so sorry I put him through that. And it was harder for him than it was for me, because I knew where I was.
Yeah.
I knew what my plan was. He didn't. He didn't have a clue whether I was dead, alive, walked off a bluff, attacked by wild hogs. He had no idea. He had no idea. So it was much more difficult for him, because he's sitting back there at the car. He never left the parking lot, because he thought I might show up. And he's sitting back there wondering what has happened to her. Does she need help? Is she alive? He didn't go there with the dead or alive. He couldn't go there, but he was concerned that I had fallen, sprained my ankle, broken a leg, done something.
You just walked out unscathed, right?
I did. It was a miracle.
Yeah.
Even when the paramedics, that was the first thing, once I got to the, once they got to me, they had to check me over. And they did, and I was I had pre-hypothermia, and I had a slight fever.
Really?
Yeah. From dehydration.
Okay.
I did drink a little water, but not much because I wasn't sure. Because I have a fanny pack that I normally take with me, but I forgot it this time. I mean, it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
I forgot it, so I didn't have any water purification tablets. I didn't have the solar blanket that I could have used. All those things that I normally take with me, I didn't have. I take them now every time I go. I have a backpack now instead of a fanny pack. I probably overdo it, but once you've been through this experience, hauling it around is much better than not having it at all.
Yeah.
So it was, and I came out of the, I told them I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't feel I needed to. I was coherent, I was talking, so they let me go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good.
Fortunately, I didn't have to go to the hospital because I hate needles.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is put an IV in.
Yeah. So you got to tell a great story and got your picture. And so now what? You got a list of more hikes and...
I do. I'm still hiking. A lot of people ask me, so do you still go out? I do. Actually, I returned to the site of where I spent the night.
Yeah.
I tried to find it 3 times and finally found it on the 3rd or 4th time. I think it was the 3rd time out I found it.
So you went back and got off the trail on purpose to find the spot?
I did, but I had my phone. I was tracking my steps. I had a walkie-talkie with me. I had my backpack full of first aid and all the supplies I would need if something happened.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'd go back.
I hiked for 11 hours. No, I hiked 11,000 steps.
Goodness.
To find that trail, but I finally did.
And why did you want to go back?
Closure.
Really?
And because I think it also, I just bawled my eyes out when I got there. I knew. There's a couple of times I thought I found the place, but I didn't have any emotional reaction to it. And I thought, this can't be the place. I would feel something. And then when I actually found the place, I knew it.
Oh, wow.
I knew it. There was just emotionally, I knew it. Mentally, it was the place where I spent the night.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to do that. It was really hard. I was by myself because, again, my husband just can't hike as long. He doesn't have the endurance that I have. I was determined to find it.
Yeah.
I can be pretty determined. That's why I call the book, I'm Here for a Purpose. Yeah. True stories of survival, faith, gratitude, and determination.
Entrepreneurial, yeah.
Because I really wanted to find it. And after the 2nd or 3rd time, the 2nd or 3rd time of trying to find it, I thought, did I imagine all this stuff? Because I could not find it.
Yeah.
And so by that time, it's like, okay, I've got to find it because I know it's here somewhere. Yeah. I ended up on a different mountain. It was on private property where I was part of the time and state property part of the time. But I found it and I marked the spot. I actually carved my initial in the tree and left my whistle there, just in case anybody ever gets there.
Yeah.
And I may go back to it again, but not for a couple of years probably.
Yeah. So you obviously weren't scared to go back and start hiking other places?
No. The 3rd time we went and tried to find the place, I was with a friend, and it was the same time of year, and on the exact date that I'd gotten lost. And so they were expecting a big snowstorm. We couldn't find it. So I didn't want to get stuck out there with 2 other people and be responsible for their, being trapped in the storm or anything like that, or getting hypothermia. So we headed back before we found it just because of the weather.
Yeah.
But when I did find it, it was April. And so the days are longer, the weather's better. It allowed me more time to look for it.
So what is next for your entrepreneur?
I hope to do a lot of speaking engagements to talk about my experience. I can talk about it on a personal faith level. I can talk about it. I've talked to some businesses and Rotaries and things like that. I have a talk that I do of things I learned that you can apply to the workplace from these experiences. And I want to get the word out there to people that take your cell phone everywhere you go. Because no matter what, they can find you. So even when I'm just running into the grocery store or running to the bathroom when I'm not camping, I take it with me.
Yeah.
Because you never know what might happen. Or
a lot of times we want to take a break from our phones, but
Yes.
then there's that importance of it. So if you are in a strange place, take it with you. You just don't have to pay attention to it. You just keep it close by.
Yeah.
So
I am more cautious now than I'm not the risk taker I used to be. I'm still a risk taker by most people's standards, but not by mine.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing your story and what you've been working on. Tell people where they can go see your pictures and buy your book.
At www.barnesbackroads.com.
Okay.
Or if you just Google Barnes Backroads Byways, my website and my Facebook, Instagram page will come up. And you can, or even for me personally, I take them with me. I have a supply of them that I always keep on hand. So you can get them, order them online or order them from me. If you're local, in the Springfield, Missouri area, I'll travel, to speak for speaking engagements. I want people to know some of the safety tips and and how you should never give up, no matter what. Don't give up, because we all have a purpose, which is why I call it. There's 3 other stories in the book, and there's stories of other people's adventures of getting lost, and some made it out, some didn't. But I've had at least 3 or 4. I've gotten lost 3 or 4 times. 2 of those stories are in the book. One story is about kayaking in the Mississippi Bayou with alligators, and watching it at the same time I had watched an alligator eat another alligator. It was quite an adventure there. But no matter what you do or where you are or in life, you do have a purpose. And I've been rescued. I feel like I'm a walking miracle, because there's several times when I shouldn't be here, but I am. So every morning I get up and try to determine what's my purpose for today.
Yeah.
Why am I here? What am I going to do? How can I live my life with no regrets?
Very good. Thank you so much. I hope you'll come back when you're working on another project and tell us about that.
I'd be happy to. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, and again, thanks to Italian Kitchen. That's Italian.kitchen. If you're looking for something yummy to eat, they do delivery, and you can check them out on their website. It's green and red logos, what you're looking for. And thank you for listening and watching runradio.net. And you can go to YouTube and subscribe. It's at Run Radio Station. Thanks so much. See you again soon. Thanks, LaDonna.
Thank you.